Hey guys, I have something cool to show you guys today. I picked up a DJI Inspire. Well, no, okay, I'm lying. It sure looks like one, doesn't it? Look at this in my hand. It is super small. This is a little toy DJI Inspire clone type deal here. I picked up on Aliexpress for around 20 bucks. This is the XD1 Pro is what they call this guy. It may go under several different names. It's just meant to look like a little Inspire. And boy, they don't give you an idea of its size very well on the listing. You think it might be a bit bigger. They expect it to be huge, but I didn't quite know it was this small. Now you get a little orange 1S LiPo with it. This is a 600 milliamp hour 1S 3.7 volt battery that just snaps up in here. It does charge off of a micro USB cable. They do give you one of those, and the light is built in on the battery, so you don't have to you can use any cables when I'm getting it. You can manually adjust the camera here. You just have to do that before takeoff. So you can adjust it to the way you want to have it. They give you, let me grab it over here, some spare props. That USB charging cable I was talking about and a Phillips screwdriver. You do get a pretty decent carrying case, which is nice for 20 bucks. It just has some foam inserts, cutouts for the controller, the drone, your instructional manual in the back there. And here is the controller. We set down the drone over here. You got your trims over here, your auto takeoff and landing, your headless mode, and stuff like that down here. You got your speed rates up here. There's 3 of them. Your 360 flips here. You do have altitude hold. Your power buttons here in the middle. And I won't take it off, but you have to flip this little switch, this little, like switch, it looks like to the right, and the whole back comes off, and that's where you put your 3 AAA batteries in there. The app you're going to use with this is called, let me double check the name, I think it was Wi-Fi UAV or something like that. Let me pull it up. It's, yeah, Wi-Fi UAV. So I'll show you guys a screenshot of that. And that's the app. It's kind of a universal app because another drone I got coming up on the channel uses the same app. Just kind of a generic app that they use for all this stuff. So it seems like a decent little flyer. It does record in 1080p. It's not stabilized or anything like that, but it seems like a pretty decent little flyer. And one other thing it does have, I didn't mention it, I should have, is it has optical flow here in the bottom. That's pretty cool at this price range. So what it's going to do is, as it flies, it's going to look at the ground. Now, you don't want to be too high up or too close to the ground, or it may not work well. It kind of analyzes the ground, and it tries to keep whatever it's looking at within the picture or the frame of the video. It's sort of like a poor man's GPS. So we'll see how it works. It's rather calm today, so it ought to be able to work decently. That will sort of slow down the sportiness of it if it's trying to work. We'll see how it works when we get up into the third rate, and we'll kind of test that out. So let me go ahead and get the app connected to the drone's Wi-Fi, and then we'll go ahead and take this little bird up in the air and fly it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am connected to the Wi-Fi feed. I'm not going to actually put it in the phone clip holder because it just wants to fly out, and I don't want to mess with. Even with the case off, it still wants to do it. So I don't want it flying off and busting my screen, landing on the ground. So we'll get this bird up in the air and see how this little guy flies. One thing I want to mention real quickly, I was kind of glossed over the controls. This is your headless mode, but this button here is your calibration. Let me try that again. It's basically doing your gyro calibration. Let's press it. And the lights flash. You probably see that. You can also do it by both sticks down. The controller beeps and it does it there. So it appears that there's 2 ways to do the gyro calibration for this drone. So let's go ahead and press the video button, and we're beeping. We got some video recorded. We can just go ahead and do an auto takeoff. So it's not very windy, and it seems to be a pretty stable drone. I did fly this in my basement the other day and trimmed it up a bit, though. The optical flow should, counteract that anyway. So this is the lowest rate. You see, very, very slow. Yaw's pretty quick though. Let's go up to the higher rate. More pitch, a little faster yaw. Let's go to the highest rate. A little bit more yaw, but a lot more pitch. But it's not super sporty again because it has an optical flow. Let's just see if we get it up here about this high. Let's just see how it does at holding position. It's not gonna probably be great. Bring it down a little bit. Let's see, sometimes these drones I kind of want to fly over and try to frame that in. Again, I don't expect much, but it seems to be okay. It's, you know, it's not going to be like a GPS lock. That's pretty good though. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's going to drift some. I'm not really too worried about that, but someone who wants like a position hold but doesn't want to have to spend the money on GPS, you might really find that important. Again, the video on this, you know, is just going to be so-so. I didn't notice like jello wobble or anything when I was testing inside. We'll see if it has any of that now. Let's do some flips now while we have the battery power. 600 milliamp is not real big, but again, this is a very small drone. I didn't weigh it because it's going to be way under the 250 gram limit. Let's do a few flips. Now this drone will not flip forward and backwards, probably because of the design. It will only flip on its roll axis. So even if you give it a forward, it'll flip sideways. So there we go. That's my little alarm going off here in the back for sensing movement. Let's do a right. Now, watch when I try to do a forward flip. Well, sometimes it's not doing it. Yesterday it was. It's just telling you can't do it, see? You have to do left and right. And it even says in the instruction manual, roll flips. So it doesn't falsely advertise. There's a little clicking sound you'll hear when you yaw. Listen. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know what it is. It seems fine. It's just weird. Something like rattles or something whenever when you do that. So when you yaw. Yeah, this is a nice little flyer, and it gives you like, looks like you got like a mini DJI Inspire. It's certainly meant to look like one, but it's just a little toy. It does, you know, they advertise aluminum. It does have aluminum on those little arms between the motor pods, but it's just a toy. But I thought it might be kind of cool because I only saw one review before I ordered this from one channel, and I wanted to see how it worked. And then it's funny, I ordered it, and I think it was yesterday, the day before, DeAndre over at Drones and Dogs, he bought it too, and of course I had no idea, and he posted his review, so I already watched his. But yeah, he kind of beat me to it, which is fine. I just he probably saw, like I did, no one had any reviews, so you want to see how this guy does. So now we can both review it and give our input. I imagine we're probably coming to the same conclusion. This is a nice little toy flyer if you set your expectations correctly. Optical flow seems to work okay. It does kind of drift, so it's a matter if the camera really gets a pattern that it likes. You can see it's kind of drifting there. So optical flow is nothing great. And this solid color in my pool, if it can't see the black lines, that could cause it confusion. Let's take it over here over these rocks and grass, see if that can get it a better optical flow, position hold. See, it kind of backed up, and now look. So I think at that height here, about 8 feet off the ground, it seems to be doing a pretty good job. Let's creep it forward, see how it does over here. Kind of backs itself up. Usually in this height range, you want it more like here usually, but it depends on the drone. That's drifting quite a bit. It seems like around that height there, look, around 9 feet, it seems to work well. You get up to around 10, 12 feet, and it was drifting quite a bit. So it really depends on the height. If you're too close to the ground here, it can't see enough. You're too close. And if you're too high, it has trouble, which is common. But typically these optical flow drones work up to maybe 20 feet. This one just isn't like more than about 8, 9, it seems like. That's not that uncommon. If they do that, but it is, it does seem to work if you're at the right height. Just keep that in mind. That's going to make it a little more difficult. But that might be good for beginning flyer, just to have the optical flow, that if you're at that height and you're close to yourself, that you don't have to worry about it taking off on you. You can see it's working pretty good at this height. And that's only about maybe 7 feet there. So I'd say between like 6 and 10 feet is what it seems to be the best. Oops. Got orientation flipped around there. There's not much in terms of, in fact, I'm looking here. I don't know if we even have any LED lights on this guy, do we? Something I didn't even pay attention to. There's nothing in the motor pods. The only thing I really can use for orientation is that bright orange battery, and you got the blue lights on top. And we're getting our low battery, so let's go ahead and do an auto landing. All right, and let's go over here and start recording the video because that's really important. Oops, had the phone upside down. Oh, there we go, flip it. And we stopped. You gotta make sure you stop recording video, otherwise you're probably gonna corrupt it and you'll lose it. And of course it's gonna keep beeping that the battery's low, so let's go ahead and turn off the controller and turn off the battery and the drone. Yeah, this is a nice little fly. I think for around 20 bucks. I mean, heck, you can't go wrong. Any drone that you can get for 20 bucks that operates really well and you know flies nice and isn't erratic is probably worth it. So yeah, I like this one. This is a nice little one if you just want a little beginning drone that kind of has a cool DJI Inspire look to it as well. It flies good, does flips fine, holds position just fine if you're not too high or not too low to the ground, which is pretty common for optical flow. All right, guys, so stay tuned to the channel. If you're new to the channel or if you're a returning subscriber, I got a brushless 2-axis gimbal optical flow drone with 3-way obstacle avoidance, everything under the sun for 35 bucks from Temu. I'm gonna be reviewing here in the next day or two. I'm excited about, so stay tuned to the channel. Let's see if that drone legitimate or a scam. So stay tuned to the channel for that. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. If you are new to the channel, while you're at it, click the bell. That way you're notified when I upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.